Hello, happy Thursday, happy Transformation Thursday, all the things in between. I need a retwist, so I'm going to be really self conscious about my hair, but try not to acknowledge that. My hair will be done by tomorrow. Hey, everyone, happy Thursday. So we're back again with another transformation talk. So we are unpacking what it takes to be increasingly successful, what it takes to make all the changes in life. My hair matches my shirt. I love it for me. Blue and orange, blue and orange. Okay. And last week we talked about spirit. I hope you guys really enjoyed that conversation about like what it means to like have spirituality as you like amass greater levels of success. And today we're talking about what it means to have energy. Why is energy a part of the conversation in the first place? Like, what is energetics? What does it even mean? And then, like, why is it a part of my process for strategic growth? And just some things that you guys can consider as you're on your way to more and more. So let's dive in. Okay, so energetics, right? My methodology is called like the soul energetics method, right? Because y'all know I'm a spiritualist, I'm a transformation coach, but I'm also a spiritualist. And when we talk about energetics, what I am talking about is your way essentially of being you. The thing that keeps you and the things and the processes and the way you were created, if you will, because like I believe in God, spirit, universe, and ancestors, all and more. And it's like the way that you were created, right? What stories, what messages, what aspirations, what vibration, what frequency do you hold, right? And how were you created to do the thing? So everyone always talks about purpose, and people like to liken purpose to like spirituality, and it's related, but purpose is also an energy. It's like essentially like a what radio station are you on? So like when you start your business, when you start going in your career and looking for more success, what radio station are you on? And what radio station should you be on that would serve you better? So when we're talking about energetics, that's what we're talking about. Unpacking and understanding what radio station you're on, right? And then what radio station you were actually designed to be on. So what was that purpose that spirit gave you when they, created you? What is that soul driving mission? What is the impact that you're going to put out into the world and shape? That is what we're talking about, right? And so with understanding that, it's like, okay, well, okay, Asha, Tanisha, what does it mean about me then? How does energetics relate to me? Well, the frequency or the radio station that you're on is what you're going to be tuned into, right? And the goal is to find the radio station that matches you. I keep using radio station because it's like a great example of energy. It's something that people can like really understand in their minds really quickly. So yeah, it's like when you start your business, when you start your company, what radio station did you turn it on to? Were your traumas playing in the background? Were these limiting beliefs playing in the background? Do you understand who you are, how you're designed, how you're created? Like what does your name mean? What is the business name? What is the energy of the business too, right? What did you say your mission was, your purpose was, right? All of those things, all of those different pieces of what it takes to create and start and sustain a business, they all vibrate differently, meaning they have different energetic frequencies, right? And so what I teach is like, how do you get them all on the same station, right? And the goal is to tune your attention, right? And go to the radio station that best serves you. And so it's important to, first thing, understand who you are. So the tools that I use to understand like people's energy, and you can use these out where you are, and I bet you'll see what I'm talking about. Numerology is one of them, right? Because there is math is a long time science in our society, like numbers and letters meaning things. It's a long term science. It's backed, right? But numerology is one of them. Why you? Why this name? And what does this name and these names that you have, how does it accumulate to like what you're here to do in your purpose, right? Human design is an excellent tool for that as well, because human design combines so many different traditional sciences that we know and gives you a really kind of foolproof exploration of the self, because it pulls in literally the radio station, right? what time you were born, where you were located on the earth, all these little different details, right? And it shows you like, okay, in this position, and in this position, and this position, and this position, your life means this, right? Gene Keys is another tool that I use, which takes human design and I Ching, don't know how to pronounce it, but it takes those two and it takes it across different archetypes, right? Like the ENFJ, Myers Briggs, but like way more detailed. And it outlines what gifts you have, like who are you, right? And when you can see that information, right, you can see all these things about yourself and be like, oh my God, I am actually more spectacular than I have been. That's a different radio station. You see that you are on a different plane. You have been on a different plane. And the goal is to get on the plane that serves you most, right? Because when you can see what the radio station is supposed to be, then you get to look at and unpack the energy in which you created a thing. So, what stories were active when you were, creating your business? What who did you learn from? How did it make you feel? What are those emotions? What are the aspirations and the goals that you have that relate to the station you're supposed to be on and the purpose that you have? And how do you get yourself in energetic alignment? Because we all know that like when we start our businesses and we create these companies, it there comes a point where the reason why you started it changes, right? You might have started to solve a problem. I always tell people my favorite phrase to say, successful people are escape artists. That includes myself. We create businesses to fix and run away from the thing that hurt us, right? Until you get to a place where you're like, there has to be something else. And so something else is figuring out, okay, how do I get all of me on the right radio station so that I'm so aligned with this purpose? I'm so aligned with this mission. I'm so aligned with this impact that nothing else can take my attention away. And a lot of entrepreneurs, especially new entrepreneurs, take a lot of classes where people are feeding you ways of doing things, strategies of doing things. And they're great and they work, right? But they only work if you know who you are. And that's what the energetics piece is about. That's why energetics is so important to the way you seek to grow your company, the way you seek to grow yourself, the way you seek to grow your life, the way you seek to grow your career. That is why it's important because your energetics talk about who you are. Yes, you can go to the mentor and try to do the thing exactly how they told you to do it in the exact way that you do it. And you probably won't get results if you're doing it to match their energy. You have to be able to either learn how to navigate from a coach or a consultant and make it your own, or you'll be stuck getting minimal results. And most of my clients, like a lot of my past clients, before they run into me, we have this issue. They were told to do a thing, they did it, and they don't feel the things that they feel that they're supposed to feel. They don't have the results that they're supposed to have because they listened to their coach, yes, but they didn't make it their own. They did not honor who they were in the process. They didn't look to understand what stories they had going that told them that they weren't good enough, who they are, who they choose to be on a daily basis was not good enough. They didn't look at that stuff. And so now, you get some results, you get little results. You get some results, you get little results. You get some results, you get little results. You get some results for a really long time. And then you're burned out and you're emotional, right? And then things are kind of crashing and you don't know what's going on, but you know something's wrong. Or you're struggling to hit that next level, but you don't know why. And I always come back to who have you been, right? But if you can understand and see who you are energetically, you can make better decisions about where you're going and what you'll pay attention to and what you'll be aligned to and why you created the thing that you created. And that's the work. So when people talk about energy, it's fun to make jokes and be like, oh, that's so woo woo. But it's not. Literally, how do you show up to the table is what makes the difference in your success. It's what makes a difference in your spirit. It's what makes a difference in your awareness. Awareness is my third pillar of success. But how you show up, what you are aligned to when you show up is part of that process. Do you understand who you are? Have you decided who you want to be? Have you decided what you want to align with so that you can maximize your results and quickly? that. So you can follow the coach, you can follow the process and the plan, but the more of you, the real you, the more of that radio station that you could crank up on a regular basis, the more you'll find that success comes easier, right? That it's more fluid, that it's more consistent, right? And you can't hide from that. And so here's how you can do it, right? Here's an easy way. I'm gonna just give this away. Um, do we want to give this away? We're gonna give this away. Okay. So I want you to think about like your purpose. And I want you to ask yourself, like, so if you meditate, meditate. If you pray, pray. But on a sheet of paper, you can do this today, later today, and just be like, what energy have I created this business in, right? But the question I want you to ask is, what is my purpose? Like, and just journal, freehand write, say a prayer before you start writing, and just start writing and see what comes up for you. And then the second question I want you to ask is, how have I been tuning into this? And write what comes up for you. And take time to look at and compare the two, right? So if you have this company, right, are you still meshing your energy with your company's energy? Or have you understood that your company is separate from you? Your company has one energy, you have another, right? Do you understand what your energy is saying to you? Do you show up to your sales calls, right? Do you show up to your prospecting days? Do you show up to your whatever client meetings? Like, I am so tuned into me. I know who I am. I know the energy. It's fire, fire, fire. Or do you like show up from this place of like, well, when I tried this thing didn't work. Well, when I tried this thing didn't work. And so you have to be really good at like understanding who you are. And if you don't know, just go use some of the tools that I mentioned here, right? If you don't know how to understand those tools, hit me up. Because my goal is to see as many people be successful as possible. But I really want you to understand why it's so important, why energetics is so important to strategic growth. Because all of you vibrates differently. Your fears and aspirations vibrate differently. Your higher self, right? Or your intuition or your sense of knowing, whatever language you want to use for it, that has a different frequency. Your dreams and aspirations have a different frequency. Your traumas have a different frequency. And then who you were designed to be has a different frequency. And the goal is to get 3 out of the 5, or most of them, back on the same page. And so you're not going to find that you have lots of growth through I mean, you can, right? But essentially people talk about mindset, and they're talking about like making big major shifts. They're talking about energy. They just don't call it that. I call it that because that's what we're talking about. The energy in which you show up to a thing. So I hope that makes sense. Let me see what's left in this that I want to tell you guys about. So here's why it matters. We have all been in the course, in the program. We have all been with the mentor. We have all been, investing in ourselves. Successful people invest in themselves. They got that down to a T. That's not even a part of the conversation. What is a part of the conversation though is what happens when you invest in yourself, right? Does the transformation happen because you allow the transformation to happen? Or do you stand in the way of your own transformation? And it might be like, well, if I'm investing at higher and higher levels, how am I standing in the way? Because you approach it in ways in which does not align with you. So I'll use myself as an example. I'm a projector in Human Design Profile. I have 4 major gifts that stand out as gene keys. And as a projector, I know that what they always say is like projectors don't have a lot of energy. We're here to guide a lot of people, but we might not have the energy to do. I have to honor that. So that means when I show up to the class or the program or the mentor, I have to for me to get the best results from whatever transformation I am sitting in, I have to understand how my energy works. I'm not designed to sit for long periods of time. I'm not designed to do a bunch of stuff in one sitting. Like I'm not really like that's not the way I was created, right? But what I am designed to do is work in really short bursts. So I might design my schedule, right? My study schedule, my investment schedule, whatever, to be like, okay, now that I'm entering this phase of investment or consultancy or mentorship, whatever, I am going to change how I show up to match me. Because yes, they have a week long of programs and a week long of things, but now I have to reorganize. And so I'm like, okay, well, when I come to study, when I come to the session with my mentor, with my coach, this is when I'm working. So now I have to redefine my work time, right? So this is hour course, so this 2-hour course, and now it's like I was in this course for an hour, and these other things are work too. Boom, 4 hours done, and it didn't feel like any sweat. That's how you take what people are teaching you or what you're learning or what you're investing in or these moves that you need to make in your business. That's how you take these things and expand them, right? You understand who you are, right? And you don't try to like, I'm gonna go, 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 when everything inside you is like, slow down. We have to move slow. Or everything inside you is like, go faster than them, right? Because there's two sides of every coin. I really hope this is making sense. I know it seems like I'm kind of talking in circles, but I hope what I'm explaining about energy makes sense. Because for me, I understand that for me to get maximum impact, maximum shift of anything that I'm investing in to have maximum growth, I have to approach it like Tanisha. I have to understand who I am to a T so that when the frequencies of like my fears, limitations, limiting beliefs try to like take over the conversation, I can shut it down because I already built foolproof things into my business, into my way of being that will support the transformation that I seek, right? That will support the next level of growth for me. And it's through my understanding that I am in an empowered state in my business always. Yes. Okay. And that's why it matters. So who have you been being? You probably heard me say that a million times. I'm going to keep saying it. And do you know how you are made up? Do you know the energetic weight, which is why we also use EFT tapping, right, to give yourself release? Do you know the energetic weight of the things that you believe and think about yourself on a regular basis? Do you know, right, like what it means to really uncover these pieces of yourself? When you look back on investments that you made that haven't panned out, can you say, how have I shown up? Can you say that? Right? Can you look at how you've shown up and be like, oh my God, I did not do this the best. Oh my God, what was I doing? Right? Ah, I see what she's saying. I didn't know who I was when I signed up for that thing. And so I showed up kind of wonky. Right? That's the conversation we're having. And so I'm gonna drop that in the chat. Drop the blind spots workbook in there. If you get the blind, it's free. So the blind spots workbook is for visionaries, right? It's 7 critical blind spots that stop visionaries from more success, and it helps you to kind of like unpack some of the things I'm talking about. Because I know it sounds a lot, and I know it sounds really woo, but it's not. It's science. We know that everything in nature literally has its own frequency and vibration that it gives off, right? It has its own energetic blueprint that it literally radiates into the universe. We know that because science told us that. And we know that if you speak a couple words to like a plant, good or bad, they're going to take in that energy, they're going to absorb it, and they're going to grow in a certain kind of way, right? If you take a plant and you're like, oh my God, plant, you're not good enough. You're not enough. What we do to ourselves, you're not enough. You're blah, 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 blah. That plant is not going to grow as fast or as quickly. Versus we take the other plant and we're like, look at you, you beautiful plant. When I bought you to make this room amazing. And you're making this room amazing. And you're changing everything. And your purpose here is to make this room the best room it's ever been. And you're doing that. You see the difference? And we know that when you say all those good things to those that plant grows. Like it shoots. It's so healthy. We've all heard of those experiments, right? Why? Because there's an energetic frequency of when they bought this plant and when you bought that plant. There's an energetic frequency of what you say to this plant versus what you say to that plant, right? And that plant as a being, a living being, is vibrating. It's going to vibrate what it consumes, right? And if it doesn't know that it was here to create this room and make this room so much better and more fun and more amazing, if it doesn't know that, how is it going to thrive? And not to say that plants that don't get spoken to don't thrive, but the plants that get spoken to, oh, look at that microscope, they're healthy, they're hydrated, they're really doing what they're supposed to do in this world. And I love how with people, this is a tangent, but we're gonna go on it anyway. I love how people love to separate and be like, oh my God, energy, that's so woo. You can't grow a business with woo. And it's like, you absolutely can, because it's not just woo, it's science. Energetic frequencies and alignment to certain frequencies, listening to certain radio stations for a certain amount of time, listening to, consuming certain things. This is science. It's science. There's data to support how things in nature survive and thrive, right? With different energies and frequencies aligned to it. There's science in nature that says that most living things, all living things in our world have a vibration. So why do y'all think that you are any different? Why, when someone comes into the space and they're like, you need to get your energy together, you're like, oh no, girl, business, I don't need that energy stuff. I just need to dot, 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 dot. You are a living being. So you emit a vibration. So everything that you have inside of you has its own vibration. You are unique, right? When you were created, you had a neutral vibration. And it's only your life experiences that tell you that your vibration is something different. And so it's like, is it woo or is it science? Business strategy is a science, right? Energetics is a science. Emotional intelligence is a science. It is a thing that you can look at, research, and help to maximize results. That's all scaling is. And so you're gonna this is a tangent. I'm so sorry. So it's like you're gonna go on a tangent. You're gonna try and explain to me that energy is woo, and it's not. You want to make more money? You want to grow like that plant is growing and thriving? Great. Then get your energy together. Tune into your spirituality. Get your energy together. Get your energy together by understanding who you are. How are you designed? What is the data, the science behind the makings of you? People will so quickly be like, Myers-Briggs, Myers-Briggs. But then when you introduce human design to the conversation as a strategy, everyone's like, oh, that's too woo. Myers-Briggs is a science, just like human design is a science, just like numerology is a science, just like gene keys is a science. These people have taken a study of people and of energy and of whatever else comes into play, because I didn't create it, but these things are scientific. So you can't be like, yeah, I use Myers-Briggs to grow my business, and then be like, oh, human design, I can't use that. What is that, girl? That's of the devil. That doesn't make any sense. Y'all, I have never gone on a tangent on here like this before, so just keep going. Just keep rocking with me. But seriously, this is how it sounds. This is how people sound. Yeah, it's the new trend. Is it? Or is it a science that is now reaching the masses? Because at one point, Myers-Briggs was a trend. But people love using that and being like, yeah, I'm an ENFJT, whatever. And this is how I use my design and my personality to get this result. Doesn't matter what tool you use. I personally like to use these tools that have been around for so long. Numerology is a really old science. Astrology is a really old science. These things have been around since the Greeks and the Romans. People in sandals. And before then, probably too. So in my opinion, it's probably a more reliable science than most of the personality tests that we have right now. But doesn't matter the tool. If you use the Myers-Briggs or I can't remember the strengths one, but the core strengths one, whatever you use, you need to use data to inform how you show up. Because in understanding the data and the science behind who you are, energy. This is energetics. You show up to places different. You make different decisions and you grow different. So if you use the plant example, the plant that you say a bunch of bad words to and never remind them who they are, that plant's gonna grow. Yeah, it's gonna be in survival mode though. It's gonna be trying to grow in spite of. It's gonna be shaken up and it's gonna be smaller. But the plant that you remind, hey girl, you're here to grow. You're here to make abundance. You're here to make this room beautiful. The plant that you do that to, that thing is going to grow in a different kind of way. And so, yeah, when we talk about, don't turn your nose up at, and don't even try to make it religious because it's not. Numerology, human design, gene keys are a science. They are the energy science of you. And if you can look at a Myers Briggs, if you can look at the Strength Finders, then you can look at those things, but not look at the science of you, honey, right? Because Myers Briggs has you answer a couple questions. These other scientific profiles to help you be more strategic and energetically aligned, these things look at the positioning of the stars, the time, very specific to you. And growth, scalability is specific to you. Okay, that was my tangent. I had to get that out. I don't know where that came from, but shout out to all the spirits that talk to me. So, again, if you like this replay, if you like this conversation, if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay at the bottom, visit the link, get the guide, figure out what your blind spots are, what you're not seeing about yourself, and the more success you're looking for. And if you love this message, share it. People need to hear it. So, yeah. And next week, we'll be doing awareness. Awareness, awareness, awareness. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on the internet streets. Peace.